Hey everybody, welcome to Wednesday. We're going to do an interesting experiment and Leanna doing a video very quickly at the end of the day while she waits for her dinner to cook. So here we go. The salt is real on Ghost of Tsushima. And some of the salt in the games press is so salty and spicy that I won't even be able to read the complete article because it violates YouTube's ad policies. So I'm going to do my best to give you a sense of it. We're going to start from best kind of critical article of Ghost of Tsushima and work all the way up to the worst, okay? If you like this sort of thing, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. Okay, here we go. So starting, and yes, I am using archive sites for some of this stuff because I do not want to give them a click. But starting off, there it is, okay, is Polygon. Polygon is actually the best. Yep, strap in. Polygon is the best. Ghost of Tsushima, Kurosawa, and the political myth of the samurai. Now, this doesn't exactly, they pull a quote from the director of Ghost of Tsushima in an interview he did with IndieWire at Entertainment Weekly. It really says something about the marketing for this game that Polygon did not get these interviews. Movie. I mean, Entertainment Weekly has been doing nerd stuff for a while, but the fact that their go-to was not Polygon. It was Entertainment Weekly and IndieWire. Maybe that's why Polygon is so salty. But they talk about the fact that the Akira Kurosawa film, Seven Samurai, was what defined the game's concept of what a samurai is. Okay? And it says, all this work went toward the hope that players would experience the game in a way as close to the source material as possible. That means the movie. And the author here rightly says that Kurosawa films are not totally historic. It's an article on history and some politics in Japan and a bit on Akira Kurosawa, and it is a worthy read. I will link this article in the description box of this video because I think this is worth reading. Even though it's like, oh, it's not too bad. It's informative. I'm good with that. Worth reading. It only goes downhill from here. Okay? We move over to Slant Magazine. Ghost of Tsushima lacks ambition, but resounds with poetic flourishes. 3.5 stars. Anybody that says a full open world game lacks ambition doesn't know how hard it is to make a functional open world game. But it spends 3 paragraphs basically being snotty before it gets to the core of the hot take. Okay? This is a game about Japanese culture and traditions that doesn't have a single Japanese person credited as a writer or creative director. Now, go back to the Polygon article that establishes that it's not about, let me fix this orientation here, there we go. It's not about Japanese culture or Japanese history or Japanese traditions. It's about a specific movie director who inspired Star Wars and a bunch of Hollywood Westerns. Okay? You don't need to be Japanese to see a movie and like a movie and create a love letter to a movie. You know, the same way the Remedy guys, out in where are they? Oh, shoot, blanking. Scandinavia, did an homage to Stephen King with Alan Wake. The same way Hideo Kojima, borrowed from Escape from New York with Metal Gear, Snake. Just saying, like, it happens. You don't have to be of a culture to like a freaking movie. If that were so, the Japanese would never be able to do almost any anime. I mean, Claymore is not an Asian weapon. Let's just move on. But Then it goes, no Asian people, no Japanese person credited as a writer, creative director. It's still a problem. It's a problem somewhat mitigated by how many Asian creatives were still involved in its making. But this is still a game that caters to players who've maybe seen Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai and aren't likely to do a double of yes. I don't even think it's a game that caters to people who have seen Seven Samurai. It's a game that is saying, hey, Americans and other English speakers, go freaking watch Seven Samurai. It's awesome. And maybe watch The Hidden Fortress and Yojimbo while you're at it. It is introducing Western audiences to the work of Akira Kurosawa. That's a good thing. That's a cultural exchange. That's not... And I mean, okay, thanks for speaking for Asians, Justin Clark. Now... he may be part Asian, but still, your name is Justin Clark. Get off your high horse. It's not named Kage or Nobu. But then it gets even more ridiculous after snotting on it and spilling a ton of ink, okay? It's nonetheless, if you're willing to extend the good faith exception to Ghost of Tsushima and judge it not for its historical accuracy, but for its true aim of delivering a lurid, pulpy tale of samurai vengeance set in one of the most strikingly beautiful open worlds ever created for a video game, you will find that it's a ringing, if pointedly unambitious, success. Let's break down this motherfucking sentence. If you're willing to judge the game for what it intends to do, not what Justin Clark wants it to do, then it's a ringing success. Part 1. You can't judge a game based on historical accuracy if its intent is not to be historically accurate. It's the game based on the movie, not the game based on history. Even Assassin's Creed takes liberties. This was based on movies, not history, and it's very loyal to the movies. So knocking it down for not being historically accurate when the movies they're based on weren't historically accurate is like criticizing Pet Sematary because people don't normally come back from the dead, and neither do their adorable pets. Okay? Frick. Right? But then it goes on. Who's upset at me swearing? I'm sorry, kitty. I said adorable pets, and one of them was like, "Pay attention to me." Timer's going. Have to push on. Okay, and it said, it is set in one of the most strikingly beautiful open worlds ever crafted for a video game. Let me let that sink in again. I repeat, set in one of the most strikingly beautiful open worlds ever crafted for a video game. And then it goes on to call it pointedly unambitious. Yes, according to Justin Clark at Paste Magazine, a game can both achieve being one of the most strikingly beautiful open worlds ever crafted for a video game and be pointedly unambitious at the same time. How do you do that? I don't know. Those slackers creating a work of sublime beauty. But that is only the third worst article people sent me on Twitter when I asked for hot takes on Ghost of Tsushima. It gets worse. We have an article courtesy of Paste. Oh, sorry, that was Slant Magazine. This is Paste Magazine. I can't keep all the nasty sounding magazine names ripping off 70s second wave feminism titles straight. But we have an article via Paste, and this is an archive because the person who wrote this didn't even play the game. I assume Dia is a female name, but Dia Lucina didn't even play the game. She just wrote a snotty article so they could put Ghost of Tsushima. The name of the game is Ghost, singular. Get that right if you're going to game search engine optimization. But it is very clear in the first paragraph that this author has never even played the game. She's crapping all over. Okay? I apologize if I misgender. I assume Dia is a female name. Sucker Punch's big samurai game of the year is finally out, and I couldn't care less about whether it's dope or not. First of all, using dope unironically in 2020. Okay, sure, that's dope. That was ironic. But I couldn't care less whether it's dope or not. She certainly implies she hasn't played the game. Or they haven't played the game. I'll use a gender-neutral program so not to misgender anybody. A big open-world game with a hokey, arguably racist approach to samurai aesthetic. A game that sure sounds, again, sounds like they didn't play the game. A game that sure sounds like it's all too willing to fall in with imperialist ideology in pursuit of expensive AAA Orientalist spectacle. At best, Ghost of Tsushima sounds boring. This author did not play the game. I certainly hope this is a piece of free content that someone's friended, because otherwise it's just really shameless, sleazy search engine optimization dickery. Okay? Interestingly, I picked an amazing segue into the absolute worst article I saw about this. And I cannot read this title because YouTube's rules don't allow it. So I am going to show you the title. And if someone could please, if you're with someone who's visually impaired, please read it. Or if you want, tweet me and I will tell you what this says. I'll just show it to you. Courtesy of Vice. Uh-huh. Let me see in Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is a real tease, but it doesn't go as far as full. Yep. Okay. So I have to jump past the image here. But this is a rather lengthy article on the lack of anatomy in Ghost of Tsushima, that ends in a line. I want to know what games this dude, Emmanuel something, is playing. I will not be linking to this article because imagine if somebody wrote an article demanding more female nudity in video games. At Vice. Vice would never publish that. Okay? And they're actually arguing that you should be able to see more man parts in Ghost of Tsushima because it has an M rating. Even though outlets like Vice have been arguing, even as sort of as recently as like when The Last of Us 2 came out, that we shouldn't be sexually objectifying people. Just saying. Like, they complained about Death Stranding. They complained about Ghost of Tsushima. They praised Grand Theft Auto 4 for going all the way. Like, I noticed no shout out to Oleg's blurred bits in Saints Row, but that's neither here nor there. Here's the sentence that made me go, Video games will often portray female characters in revealing clothing or completely nude, if only to titillate a particularly horny segment of its audience that's into that kind of thing. Please show me these games. I'd like them because, like, I haven't seen that since they took the Desire Demons out of Dragon Age. They go on to say there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it would feel a lot more fair if games like Ghost of Tsushima just went the extra step and at least gave us the option to see Sekai's word I can't say. Like, there's a reason games don't do this anymore, and it has to do with this platform. And you'd think that the edgy, out there, like bleeding edge services like Vice would know this. That I can't even say these words, let alone show the images from the game. What's the point? I mean, showing bum is edgy enough that I'll do it on Twitch and not YouTube. But, you know, YouTube is still very dominant in terms of discussions of this game. If stuff gets demonetized, what's the point? And they're certainly going to demonetize what this article wants. Now, here's the thing. We don't get that kind of nudity in Akira Kurosawa films. So why do you want it from a game inspired by Akira Kurosawa films? This is the sort of coverage that in publishing is called a werewolf cookbook review. I know I've talked about this before, but I'll say it again. And this is why it's bad. Because it breaks down to basically, I mean, this is not a review, this is an op-ed, but it's still shameless and sleazy, okay? Because you can't write an article like this about women. So you shouldn't write it about men. If it's not okay to sexually objectify women, it's not okay to sexually objectify men, period, end of story. That is what equality means, okay? And if it's okay to say about men, then it's okay to say about women, because why is it more shameful when it's women? You know, the writer of this article is male, so it's still for a presumed male audience. The whole power dynamics still apply here. They get away with it, right? That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm not going to get into the reasons it's wrong because I don't have time, but that's wrong. But every single one of these reviews is a werewolf cookbook article, which basically goes of the form, this is a cookbook, but I like werewolves. There's no werewolves in this cookbook. Thumbs down, 1 star, right? 3.5 stars in this case, which is a 7, which is the biggest shank in video game reviews. Because an 8, I don't know if it still does, but an 8 used to get a dev team a bonus. And so giving them a 7 was just a screw you. This is a game that's a love letter, that's a big fanboy epic to the work of Akira Kurosawa. Which means if you want porn or Japanese history or Japanese historical porn, this is not the game for you. It's not the source material. It's not the point. The rest of us kind of go tee-hee-hee bum when we get it because it's good, clean fun. Literally, it's a hot spring. Demanding something from creators, whether it be the correct politics or a certain type of nudity or historical accuracy, is exactly what these, I don't know what to call them anymore, because this has nothing to do with social justice, okay? I'll call them cultural bullies, okay? This is exactly the accusation leveled at gamers, okay? I am not saying this, I am quoting the accusation. That gamers are entitled and don't let developers make the games they want to make. They cater to a very narrow kind of field of taste, right? Very narrow pocket of what's considered acceptable as a game. That's not true of gamers. As the embrace of games as diverse as, say, like Minecraft and Undertale and Ghost of Tsushima shows, okay? It does seem to be true of the people writing about games who seem to want to force games to be what they want instead of just judging these games for what they are, even when they haven't actually played the game, so they have no idea what the game is. I mean, in terms of the imperialism thing, it couldn't be further from the truth. Like, the game goes out of its way to show that these fictional Mongols, not the historical Mongolians, but these fictional bad guys, are actually terrible people. It's not just that they're foreigners. They're invading and occupying these islands, starving the locals, and generally doing terrible things. They are bad. Okay? More on that later, when I talk more about the game. But you cannot, as a professional who writes about games, in good conscience, demand that a game be something it's not. You have to take the game on its own terms. If the game tries to be, say, a serious commentary on social issues, the way The Last of Us 2 attempted to be, and, in my opinion, failed in that goal, that is fair to criticize. When a game tries to be a game based on a movie and succeeds in that, it's not fair to criticize it for not being historically accurate or not being a different kind of game based on a movie. That's bad faith. So I'll leave it there. You can see my frustration. You can see why I'm showing these guys think I took the pain so you didn't have to. If you like this kind of stuff, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. And I did this without burning my dinner. Yay! Thanks for watching.